Episode 6. The Illness. Finishing what had to be done, Sarah was ready to watch Xavier make an embarrassment out of himself. Suddenly, an idea came to mind, and a record crystal appeared in her sleeves. A record crystal was an object capable of recording video and audio in its surroundings. She intended to use it as evidence of Xavier's wrongdoing. This way, he would be unable to talk his way out of it when she spread the word about his fraud. Let's see how you would like to be humiliated then. To think that you would dream of competing with Teacher August. Dream on. Sarah thought to herself, her eyes glittering as she held back laughter. Just as she was waiting to see what nonsense Xavier would come up with, a pair of clear eyes reminiscent of lanterns appeared right in front of her. Sarah jumped in shock and backed away hurriedly. Only then did she realize that it was Teacher Xavier. She ground her teeth in anger and exclaimed, "What are you doing?" "Relax, I'm just taking a look." With his hands behind him, he circled around Sarah, shaking his head. Then, he suddenly stopped before her, leaving only a little distance between them. She could feel the warmth from his body. Sarah's face blushed. From a young age, there hadn't been a single man who had been in such proximity with her. Her heart beat furiously. Then she heard an unhurried voice saying, "You are sick." Sarah almost fainted on the spot. What was wrong with Xavier's brain? She executed a set of martial arts for him to point out the flaws in them, and as a result, he told her that she was sick? How could such a vile person exist in the world? "Why did you start hurling insults?" Xavier frowned. Then he understood what other meanings his words could hold and smiled faintly. "I am saying that your body is sick. I am not insulting you." "I am not sick!" Sarah scowled. She was as strong as an ox. A single fist of hers had a strength of more than 220 pounds behind it. "In my opinion, you are the only one who is sick. Something is wrong with your brain." "Don't refute my words without listening first. Do you often feel a vague pain at the acupoints in the center of your chest and the center just below the ribcage? Especially on the night of a full moon, when the humid wind blows, and a faint red tinge will appear on your body, and you will At this point, Xavier hesitated, as though it was difficult to verbalize. However, he continued. "No matter how you train, you feel like your heart won't calm down?" How did you know?" Although Sarah had intended to refute every word that Xavier would say, she was shocked at the truth he had just dropped on her. Recently during training, she would feel a faint pain in the center of her chest and just below the ribcage, although she would just bear it since the pain wasn't severe. The crux of the problem was that on the night of a full moon, when the cold wind blew, her body would turn weird. A strong desire would surge through her body as it turned a shade of red. Unable to suppress her raging emotions, she would find herself craving the embrace of a man. She was just a 17-year-old woman who had yet to undergo the matrimony of human bodies, so she was unable to recognize what the feeling truly was. She only felt embarrassed by it. Initially, she thought that she could just bear with it, and that it would pass. However, these feelings became more and more intense. As her body developed and her chest became more fleshed out, she felt those tendencies getting more uncontrollable. In the past, she could deal with it with just 2 circulations of her cultivation technique. But now, even 10 times wasn't enough for the urges to subside. She could only halt her training until the sun rose. As this affair was really too bizarre, she didn't dare tell anyone about it. Even her best friends and her city lord father were kept in the dark. Despite it being a matter no one knew about, how did Xavier find out about it? It was also due to her inability to bear it that she came to the academy in the first place, in the hope to find the crux of the problem and solve it once and for all. "I am a teacher. I could tell from the punch routine you executed just now," Xavier replied calmly. Of course, it was impossible to tell this much through looking at one's punch routine. The Divine Library was an extraordinary treasure. As long as she possessed flaws, even if those flaws had nothing to do with her skills, it would be recorded. "Is there a solution?" Sarah clenched her jaws and asked with a reddened face. After she was so resolute to expose Xavier's fraud, she ended up having her problems exposed by him in an instant. It made her feel embarrassed. "There is a method to resolving it. Come to class tomorrow and I will explain it to you." Xavier gestured with his hands. Sarah's eyes lit up in disbelief. "Really?" She was very aware of the problems in her body. Her inability to control these raging desires caused her to become irritable and impatient in everything she did. Initially, she thought she could only conceal this matter in her heart, and that there was no way to solve the problem. However, never would she have dreamed that this teacher would have been able to uncover it in just a few words. Furthermore, he had a solution to treat it. "If you don't trust me, you can look for other teachers in the academy." Xavier flung his hand with an indifferent expression, mirroring the look of an expert. No. Teacher, you are the only one." Sarah nodded her head. It hadn't been just a day or two since the start of her suffering. Countless physicians in the city couldn't tell what was wrong with her. Even her father, City Lord Kurtz, wasn't able to tell that there was something amiss with her. Yet, this teacher Xavier could tell with just one look. Xavier pointed to her sleeves. "That record crystal, do you still intend to keep it?" "Ah!" Sarah was horrified. Only now did she recall the record crystal she intentionally left behind to get evidence of his fraud. If the contents of the conversation leaked out, how could she continue to walk with her head held up high? I don't... Exerting some force with her palm, she reduced the record crystal to dirt. After destroying the crystal, Sarah glanced at Teacher Xavier. This time, his face didn't look so hateful. Rather, it was an enigmatic face. Despite concealing the record crystal so discreetly, she still got caught. Not to mention, the problems with her body were exposed by him. How could someone of such capabilities score a 0 on the teacher qualification examination? He must be indifferent to fame and reputation, apathetic to the views of outsiders. I have heard that experts are all like that, Sarah thought to herself. Suddenly, she viewed Xavier as more of an expert rather than a swindler. Take your identity token to claim your betting and your books. Also, look for your lodging while you're at it. We shall start lessons punctually tomorrow. Seeing that another student had been reeled, Xavier waved his hands as he passed down instruction to her. Suddenly, a loud roar could be heard from outside, and in a flash, a middle-aged man rushed in. He carried a ferocious aura with him as he entered the classroom. From a single look, one could tell that he wasn't weak. "Young mistress!" After entering the door, the middle-aged man stopped and bowed to Sarah. Sarah stared at him. "Butler Wills, why are you here?" The man was the butler from Oxus City, whom her two friends went to invite, Seth Wills. Just as he was about to leave after sending Sarah to the academy, her two friends rushed over to inform him that the young mistress was about to acknowledge the man who had scored a 0 on the teacher qualification examination as her teacher. Not only that, but he had ordered her to scrub the toilet bowls. Hearing those words, Butler Wills almost exploded on the spot. Young mistress, the apple of the eye of the city lord. At home, no one dared order her around. And to get her to sweep the floor and scrub the toilet bowls, he was too audacious. How could the young mistress study under someone like that? Even in the city, the people who guided her, even casually, were much stronger than this man. Staring coldly at Xavier, Butler Wills glanced over at Sarah. "Young mistress, are you—"
"I have already acknowledged Teacher Xavier as my teacher," Sarah declared. Running here with his full strength, he hadn't thought that he would still be a step too slow. Butler Wills' face darkened as he pulled Sarah to his back. He continued staring at Xavier coldly. "Quickly withdraw our young mistress from your tutelage, then apologize. Otherwise, when I blow this matter up, everyone will know that you bewitched an underage woman to get her to come to your class." "Bewitched an underage woman? What are you talking about?" Xavier shook his head. If others were to hear such words, they would think that he had done something to Sarah. The heavens could serve as his witness that all he had done was accept her as his student. "Don't play around with me. The young mistress of our family is a talented genius. She isn't someone a person of your qualification can teach. If you were to remove her from your lessons now, I can choose to just let this pass. Otherwise, I will have no other choice than to bring this up to the principal and have you fired." Before he could continue, Sarah interrupted from his back. "Butler Wills, what are you doing? I have acknowledged Teacher Xavier as the teacher of my own free will. Why are you causing trouble for me?" Sarah stomped her feet. The reason she had come to the academy was to solve the problem with her body. She was still happy over the fact that Xavier had assured her that he would be able to help her. And yet this butler here came to mess it up. What the heck was he doing? "Of your own free will?" Butler Wills glanced at Sarah. "Do you think that he can really give you guidance that would allow your strength to surge?" The young mistress was a proud person. He knew that well. Could it be that this teacher, who was reputed as trash, would be able to guide her? Is that why she acknowledged him? Allow my strength to surge? That he didn't do. Sarah shook her head. Xavier had only pointed out her illness. He had yet to guide her on her cultivation. "No? Then—" Butler Wills was baffled. "All right, Butler Wills, stop asking." Recalling her illness, Sarah's face turned red. Seeing the young mistress behaving like that, Butler Wills stared blankly in confusion. Then, when he saw the shattered record crystal on the floor, his face turned pale. "You bastard! What did you do to our young mistress? Did you think that I wouldn't dare kill you right now?" In his rage, a powerful aura surged forth and the wind howled. The ground groaned in agony as though it was unable to bear the heavy pressure.